Hello, and welcome back to another chapter of Beyond the First Chapter with the J, O, and the C. C is me, Carmen, Jolanda, and Olivia. As we do each week, we talk about what's going on with us as we enter this new chapter in our lives that is 50 plus. And I just want to say that I enjoy talking to my sisters every week. It is the highlight of
Me
my
too.
week to get to speak to them and just kind of sometimes vent and just, talk about stuff that I don't get to talk to anybody else about. So, first of all, I want to know how
100%.
your week has been. How you guys been, ladies?
Well, I'll go first. I It was the first full week of school after having Monday off last week, and it was long having a 5-day week. Uh, the the kids were good, but it was just a long week, very draining. We did have a volleyball game. We won the game, thank
Yeah.
goodness. And they won all 3 sets, so that's even more amazing, because these girls have never played, and it was amazing. It was really good. I, did not go to, do my normal, running around during, this week because I was under the weather, and I was trying to just make myself feel better, so school was the only thing that I did, otherwise I was in the house. So that was it.
Okay. I don't remember my week.
It's a blur.
It kind of was. However, I did go celebrate two birthdays last night with the ladies in my neighborhood. Seven of us went out to celebrate two birthdays. We went to Athens. I hadn't been to this part of Athens, so that was an adventure. I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant because I don't necessarily have to go back, but it was lovely to hang out with the ladies and just talk and not be wives and mothers, and just be women. And we're women of different races, of different, I shouldn't say races, different ethnicities, different socioeconomic situations, different age groups. So it's always interesting. And we went to visit one of our group, sold her house, and she has a house. I'm saying in Winder, like you guys know where these places are, but um, another 15 minutes down the road from where we live now. And we went to see her new home, and that was nice. It was nice. It was really a good evening. Um, so I guess that's the highlight, which is why I don't remember the rest because it was just my normal, nothing special, stuff I discuss every week. So I'm not gonna to do it again.
Okay. Well, for me, it was a regular work week. Went to one job, left, went to another job, came home. Didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Nothing special happened. It's just a plain week, which I'm all right with. I nothing, I don't have to have things spectacular happen all the time. Just
No drama, no trauma.
yeah, exactly. That's it. That's it. So I'm glad to hear that. So I am going to turn it over to Olivia.
So this week we didn't, as our normal thing, we try to plan something to talk about, but we didn't. But I said, well, I had a meeting earlier today, and the committee that I'm on for my sorority is physical and mental health. And I said, you know what? Me and my girls have never talked about mental health. We've always talked about physical health, and we've talked to you guys about it, like taking vitamins, working out, doing the things we need to do. But we've never talked about like mental health. And one thing I will say is, I think it's because it's kind of taboo in our community to talk about mental health, even though it's everywhere now. But I think we need to share with each other since we've never done that. So this will be probably the first, or maybe, yeah, I mean, the first in-depth conversation we've ever had about mental health. So I guess I will start. I will ask this question to the ladies. Have you guys ever had a conversation with your parents about anyone in your family that had suffered from mental health?
No.
No.
No,
No.
never a conversation because um when you said that it's kind of taboo in our house, that you know, I mean, yeah, back in the day, it really was. They were not, you know, I mean, they wouldn't talk about if somebody had mental issues or had a nervous breakdown or anything like that, you know, because that was like you don't, you know, what I mean, you don't have those, you don't talk about those, you don't do anything, you don't, you know, what I mean, you pray about it, you go to God with everything in prayer, but you know you don't, you know, seeking help, seeking us going to lay on somebody's couch or anything like that. That was no, you don't do that. So no, those are never conversations that I, well, speaking for myself, that we had for my, I never no talked to my parents.
Jolanda, you?
Nope. Other than, she crazy, or he a little touched.
That part.
Okay.
Um, but it wasn't like an in-depth conversation. Mm-mm, it wasn't. Okay, how about you, Olivia?
So I was gonna say that was pretty much the conversations we that were said around us, never to us personally. That, oh, they're a little slow. Finding out that was basically someone on the spectrum that's autistic now that I know, um, and things like that. So the reason why I asked that question first is because I know I suffered and have suffered and suffer, continue to suffer now with anxiety and depression. And I know one of the things that kicked it off for me was the fact that I lost two children. And I will say this, in utero, they were, I was 5.5 and 6 months each time that I lost my children. And I know that kicked off anxiety for me, um, making sure that, like, I'm doing everything right. I'm making sure that I'm eating right. I'm moving right, because a lot of that emotional toll was not shared. It was on me. Nobody ever said, "How are you doing? What's going on?" I mean, you guys, but you're my girls. But like nobody ever said afterwards, like, "How are you doing? What's going on? What have the doctors said? Like, what do you need?" Things like that. Like, people just went on with their lives, and it was really hard to deal with that. So then when I had my son, I was very protective. Jolanda would tease me all the time. You so slow changing his diapers. You so this, so that. But for me, I had to be diligent. Like, it was a thing that I had to take my time, because if I felt like if I didn't take my time, I would lose him, even though that he was there.
Hmm.
And I'm about to cry about that. So that is something that I dealt with.
Hmm. That's understandable. Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I know which baby. I think it was Xavier. When you lost him, I had just recently, it not just like the month before, but I had Tyler, and
Mhm.
she was always a lively child. So she was very loud and squealing and giggling and running around. And she did not understand that if mommy's on the phone and I need you to be quiet, I might need you to be quiet. So I know we discussed it. for a
Mm.
Mhm.
couple of months, I really kind of cut communication with you, uh,
Mhm.
unless I was by myself, which was very few and
Never.
far between. And I told you because I knew that I didn't know, but I just felt that hearing that in the background would not be a good thing for you.
Yeah, it would be hard. That would definitely
So
be hard.
thank you for sharing that because I was kind of feeling bad about that during that time. Like I want to be there more for my friend, but I would have to bring a kid with me, and you know, I
And I tried, and I truly did. So like when I went to Carmen's baby shower and all of that stuff, like I mustered up as much as I could, and I did as much because I wanted to be supportive of you guys. That's why I made sure I was in the delivery room when you had Kaden and all of those different things. But it was just like, why? What did I do wrong? And I was like, at first, I was like, is this punishment for something I did? And then after that, it was like, well, I'm not a good teacher, so that I don't deserve kids. It was just so much. And then not to have that support from everybody else who's family about it
Mm.
made it worse.
So
And then
how did you deal
hearing
with it?
people say,
How
well, I'm not ready to be a grandma and things like that just made it even worse.
right. But so how did you deal with it? Because you did you just suppress it? Because I know about suppressing stuff. That's just me. Um
So one of the things I did was I poured myself into my son, like literally, that was all it was about. Like he co-slept, he like whatever. It was all about him. I lost myself in him so that I could function. Once I did that, um, then I poured myself into my students. Uh, because I felt like, well, maybe if I pour myself into children, it would be better. Because I'd be like yelling at God, like, you let these teenage kids run around and have babies. I did everything right. I got married. I didn't have children before. Like I was like, I did everything you told me to do. Society says to do, and then now I don't have any kids, or now that I have this child, I'm gonna do everything. But then also too, it was hard because the ladies know I had to do in vitro to have my child. So that was another mental hurdle I had to get over because I had to get shots daily. And that changed your emotion because those were hormones that I was putting in my body. So then I had those hormones to deal with, which changed these emotions. And then, like, hearing all the statistics of people saying, well, it didn't work this time. It didn't work this time. I had to do 5 times. And all I was just praying is just one. That's all I want. Just one baby. So when I got my one, I was like, one and done. I'm done. Like, okay, thank you. And that's why I said, like, I took my time with everything for him. And well, everybody will say, you doted on Chase. I sure did. I did. I did because he was my rainbow baby. And that at that time, I thought if I proved to God at that time that I was a good mother, maybe he'd give me another one.
wow, I didn't know all of that.
Yep.
Well, how did you cope with before Chase came? Like how
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
I think that was the question Carmen was trying to ask because you lost Robert and you lost Xavier. So
Hmm.
before you got pregnant with Chase, how were you able no to it's right there, the sneeze is right to continue on and move? Like what coping tactics did you use?
I literally was in a daze those years. I literally was, well, I walked around in a daze, or I poured myself into Delta. I poured myself into Top Ladies. I poured myself into anything that would keep me distracted at all times.
And
Yeah.
see, what I find is, really interesting about this, that it never occurred to you that you need to just seek professional help to deal with this particular thing, because now we it's always kind of predicated when a woman may have fertility issues and then when they had a couple of failed pregnancies, then they was like, okay, she needs to go see somebody, she needs to talk it out, needs to see a psychiatrist just so that she can get her mental back together again. um
That was never offered.
but there was,
That was
yeah, exactly.
never offered. And I had two,
Hmm.
the only Black gynecologist in Lake County at the time. And that was never anything that they ever offered. Never offered. They never said, hey, do you need to see somebody? Hey, did you like, I had a priest come because I was Catholic at the time and see me after Trey passed. And then when Xavier passed, I had a non denominational
Denomination. Denomination.
um thank you, denomination uh person come, but never once did they ever offer anything when it came to mental health, ever. And I agree with you. There should be something, because that, first of all, hormones that you're putting in your body, the hormones that you develop once the baby's in your body, then dealing with making sure that you're eating right, making sure that your body's functioning right. Like all of those things take a toll. Like I look at some of the other women that I saw uh go through some of the things, and I was just like, wow, they bounced back quick, but they had children quick. Um, I will say one thing: the one hospital did offer if I wanted to go to a group for women who lost children, and I was just like, it would have been great if I had the support to go, but I didn't, so I didn't go.
Do you think that that your support people, the people around you, not, and not speaking of us, um
Mm.
of others, that they were just as oblivious to just the whole thing,
Oh, I'm
or
sure they were oblivious. They were living their own lives like it. And I will say this: pregnancy does not affect anybody but the woman, period.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Never. I don't care
sure.
how much your husband loves you. I don't care how much your mother loves you, how much your brothers and sisters love you, how much your friends love you. Pregnancy only affects that woman, period. End of story.
Mm-hmm,
No matter what happens, it is on her, good, bad, or indifferent. It is on her, unless she's being beaten, but otherwise, it's on her. And nobody that I have come in contact with now that I've had therapy about it has ever said, "Oh yeah, people will see and they'll want to rally around you." Yeah, they might rally around you for a couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks, but they go back to their own lives because that did not affect them.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I see that.
yeah,
I've seen that, I should say.
yeah. So that's my first ever battle. Anyone have a battle? I know Jolanna's looking at me like, you glazed over that really nicely. What's the look, Jay?
Just thinking.
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm really back to that time.
Hmm.
Like I'm just thinking back to the memories, the times we did spend together during that time.
Hmm.
And I'm just trying to see your face and remember.
Oh, my face was totally different.
No, when I say see your face, now
See
that
your
you
face
said
in
you
your
were just
memory, yeah.
walking through in
Mhm.
the days, I'm trying to remember because I didn't know you were in the
Oh,
days. I knew you were hurt, which is why I handled you with kid gloves, but I didn't know um, that you were in the days.
oh, and okay. And when I mean my face was totally different, I'm saying it as I wore a mask. So I think that you probably would never have seen it because I put on that mask really tight, like super glued it so that you guys wouldn't know.
But remember the complaint I had during that time. It wasn't exactly during that time. It was after the second child. And little later, like Chase was here. Chase was here. And
Hmm.
I don't know if Kennedy was here yet. But I was saying, I was angry with you and we had gotten into it. And I was like, you're not a good friend because when I call you and I want to talk to you, you're not there for me. Like you'll say, oh, I'm busy, which you did. Oh,
Hmm.
I'm busy and I'll call you back. And I'm like, yeah, and those calls never came back. And I was really needing you. Well, now it makes sense. You know,
Mhm.
you don't, mm,
And that's why,
question
and
because I'm
that's
about to.
why when we got into our huge fight, I made such a big effort afterwards to make sure I was there because
Mm,
I know how it feels not to have somebody there for you during
mm,
that time because I felt like you weren't there for me because you were trying to spare my feelings
yeah.
with your child. You and you too, Carmen. I felt like you guys weren't there for me. So
Mhm.
when I did come around and I did try to interact and I had to cut myself off because I was like, man, they had their children so easy. They didn't have to have any problems or whatever. And like some days it was just like I looked at y'all like, God damn, like, why the fuck am I being punished at the time? So that was it. That's why I like literally, but that's also too why when I when we were together, I was so clingy because I needed you guys to understand that like when I'm here, I'm here. That's why I would get mad when Jay, you would make other friends, and I knew those friends. I was like, you thought it was more of me being jealous, which it could have been, but it was more of I needed to protect everybody around me because I know how it feels when you don't have that protection.
Mm, okay. I never thought it was jealousy.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's why I was angry. I could have accepted jealousy. I was angry, and since we've opened that door, let's go ahead and walk. Um, my anger was because I felt that you just did not want me to have anyone else in my life, and I thought that was
oh, no.
selfish because I did not care if you had other people in your life. Which I tell all of you guys, please have, you need other friends and things like that. But again,
Yeah.
what
It
I
was
did.
never that. I didn't care if you had other friends. Like, shit, I
You
knew you
you
had friends
say that.
before me, and you're gonna have friends after me.
You say
But
that.
like,
That was
huh?
not the attitude that came across.
I understand that's not what came across,
Yeah.
but that's what I knew. But I didn't know how to
Ex
verbalize that to you.
Okay, that's
That's
fair.
why.
Ooh, okay. We starting off for real. So Carmen, have you
Yeah.
ever lost any children?
No, I've never lost any children. I just deal with a whole lot of other people's problems and stuff that are heaped upon me, and to be the fixer, and I can't always fix it, but I do want to fix it. Uh, and what I did have is what you call smiling depression. You'll never know what I'm going through because I'll always put a smile on my face, and
Mm,
I will keep on moving.
So why do you think you have a need to fix?
I have no idea. I really truly wish I did know how. I will say it has gotten better because my need to fix has all but cease. There still sometimes is there, and it'll real and I'll start and I would and literally I had to stop myself just last week trying to fix something and realize, no, 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 I can't fix it. I can't fix it. Whatever it is either it's gonna break some more, it's gonna or you won't figure out how to fix itself. And if it does, if it's broken, then it needed to break, and I needed to leave it alone
Mm.
because there's so many other things that I could be worried about. I can't. So some things I just cannot fix. Oh, I should not fix, or just stay my problem.
There's the root right there. It's not
Yeah,
more.
just ain't my problem. And I have a problem with uh, perfection. Things have to be a certain way. I have a problem with that.
Mm.
Um, that I'll pick apart and put back together and do it again and do it again. And if it's not right, if I just don't feel it, it's just and sometimes it's the most ridiculous thing. And I can't I can't let it go because I just it has to be a certain way. Um and it it gets bad sometimes that I can't. It's the perfection, and that's something that I battle with all the time. The need to have things a certain way when they don't have to be. Um that's why I told
So
you.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So listening in all my years of therapy, I'm not going to therapize you, but I'm going to ask a question.
Sure.
Do you feel that your need for perfection could have come from something from your past of growing up at home? Like, did you have to be perfect as a child? And like, you have parents who came from a different era where you had to shine your shoes, iron your clothes. I mean, we had that too, but not to the
Yeah.
extent you would have it. So,
Yeah.
like, is that from, do you think it would be possibly from that?
I think it stems from, and and though I've been to therapy myself too,
Mhm.
it stems from it does stem from a portion of my childhood of wanting to be seen by
Okay.
my parents and by people.
Mhm.
Because again, I've probably said it before in some of our other talks that I was the oops child. Not really.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So my sister that's before me was the child that my father, he never my father didn't have he had four girls. He raised my mom's two oldest one, and then my mom had two children with him, and my sister and my older sister and I.
Excuse me.
And he never had any kids. So when my older sister was born, she was it, for him, especially in his family. He's like, oh, CJ has a kid. CJ finally has a kid, and everything like that. And then they were doting on her. And then, oops, here's Carmen. Okay. All right. But Carolyn, but CJ has his daughter, blah, blah, blah. And it was more of a push. So I was back there, shuffleball changing and tap dancing and trying to be Sammy Davis the kid to go like, hey, look at me. So it was more always me trying to be, seen. And the more I wanted to be seen, the more I started to push myself back. If
Mm.
if that made it more if that makes sense to
Mhm.
anybody, you know? So I would be, what I mean, I would orchestrate from back there. But
Mm.
everything that happened was because of me.
Mine was the opposite. My dad didn't have kids, and then when my sisters came, everybody was like, "Oh my God, he finally has his own kids." So I feel you on that part.
Yeah. So yeah. So so that's the crux of where that kind of, I need to be perfect, I need to have things a certain way or anything like that, because on and then there was always that pull and tug on me to be whatever somebody else wanted me to be, and I never
Hmm.
want and never to be myself.
Hmm.
So it was always, uh these are the expectations that are set forth for you to do, and you all know this very much so. These are the expectations that set forth for you to do. It has nothing to do with the expectations you have personally for yourself.
Hmm.
So, and we were never allowed to do those things until we had that total freedom, till we realized we had the freedom, because we had it all along. We had it. We just, we were just so conditioned that
Yeah.
we did not go against it. And when I did go against things, so my biggest thing of going against tradition was marrying the person I married,
Hmm.
and realizing that they were going to be okay, and they were. You know what I mean? I went forth and everything like that, and when I was like going, I'm marrying him. What are you gonna do? You gonna be there or you're not gonna be there? If you're not gonna be there, okay, I'm gonna have to be okay with that, because I'm gonna go ahead. I didn't have things the way I wanted them to. I had to get over that, because
So does your perfectionism try hold you back now, still today?
it slows me down,
Okay.
because sometimes it doesn't. I Like I said, I don't need to nitpick as much as I do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't need to nitpick as much as I do, and I'm an accumulator of every little detail of something before I build it up. And so I'm accumulating the details, and it prolongs the project of actually getting something done.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I will all like I said, I have um that smiling depression. I will always have a mask up no matter what. I will always put a smile on my face, and people ask me how I feel. I'm always going to say I feel fine. Um
Still.
Still.
So what do you think it's going to take to remove the mask?
I don't know. I honestly, if and I'm gonna give you the ask, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it.
Mm.
Why?
I don't I don't
It's
know.
okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, who's Carmen?
I'm Carmen. I can be
No, you
me.
just told me that I'm
I
looking
can
at.
when I'm feeling, when I get depressed, when I have those feelings, I will not tell them to anybody. I won't show them to anybody.
Okay.
Nobody.
So how do you deal?
I find myself someplace quiet. Like I told you, I like my quiet. I'll get quiet. I'll get by myself. I I won't communicate with people for a while, um, until I can get myself out of it. Until I can bring myself up. But if you happen to call me doing that thing, you're gonna get, hi, how are you? I'm fine.
You know, we still know, right?
I'm quite sure you all know, but you're probably the only ones that do.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably the only ones that do. Anybody else would not.
You know what I'm going to say, Carmen? And I think it probably goes across all of us.
Mm,
And it may even touch on a little bit of what Olivia spoke on with not getting the support. We're not the only ones who know. Like, Olivia's people knew she needed support. People can tell you're all, but it's easy if you're still doing what they need you to do. You know, it's
mm-hmm.
like it's been times I'll call you and I'll fuss at you, and you notice I don't initiate calls as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, knowing these things now helps. Um, but I would call you and I would call you because I hadn't heard from you, and I was like, "What the hell's going on? What are you alive?" You know that was my main. You alive? Hello. I haven't heard from you, but you still posting on Facebook. I still see little pictures. I'm gonna let you know that stuff be pissing me off because I'm like, if you can put on a public face, you can talk to me. So that's why I would call you and be like, hey, what's going on? And I wasn't doing it to be a hard ass. It was like, I'm not hearing from you. And
Those are times I just can't. I can't say anything.
yeah, but we could get on FaceTime like we used to do and just putter,
That's true.
sit
I
in
mean,
the in the same
to the people that
space.
are watching us, when she says get on Facebook and we could just put, let me tell you what we do. We will FaceTime each other and actually do housework.
Mm.
We will move computer, uh, phone around the house, set it
Mm.
up so we can each see us vacuuming the floor, doing
Mhm.
the dishes, doing laundry. We will just be doing
Driving in traffic because
driving in traffic and not saying nothing to each other.
not a word. Not a word.
Not a word.
Yeah.
And we could do it for hours.
Yeah. I think
Hours. And
we had a
people
good
be like, "Oh,
7
you on the
hours before.
phone?"
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on the phone.
Yeah. We've had a good 7
They be
hours.
like, "You're not saying nothing. It don't matter."
It don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah. You guys, everyone might be coming with me in a little bit to feed my dog because it's his dinner time. Trying to stretch it out a little longer. Um,
Yeah,
okay.
but that's me. Well, what about you, Jolanda?
Well, so I'll go back to the first topic of losing a child. I did. I had a miscarriage in between Morgan and Tyler. So, um, yeah, that's just hard for me to. I didn't know it was. Oof, I'm getting emotional. I didn't know it was hard for me to talk about till now. Um, so we were still in an apartment. My husband had just transitioned from the military into corporate America. I had at that time 13-month-old. We were looking to move into our first home. We were on one income. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not ready to be a mother of two because this mother of one is kicking my butt because I'm doing it by myself. Um, I was a married single mother. I'm not, it
You
is what it is. I was a married single mother. I did everything. And so found out about being pregnant. I was not happy at all, but I was like, if this is what's supposed to happen, I had the sex. So, this is what comes with it sometimes. So I was going to deal with it. I did have one conversation. At that time, I was more staunchly Christian, and I didn't do a prayer. I literally had a discussion with God. And I said, if I'm supposed to have this child now, the child will come and we will be okay. I will love my child. If it is not time, then the child won't come. However, that happens, and maybe the child will come later. Maybe a week later, I started having really bad stomach cramps and told my husband I wasn't feeling good. And yeah, he was kind of an asshole and didn't really take that into consideration when I'm saying, dude, I don't feel good. I didn't even have any painkiller. And I was like, can you go to Kmart and get me some painkiller? I need some Tylenol. And he hemmed and hawed so much. Now, I'm having these bad stomach cramps, but I'm still taking care of a kid, cooking dinner, doing all the things you do. So I just couldn't wait any longer. It was like 9 p.m. And I just was like, fuck it. Um, I put Tyler to sleep and I jumped in the car, went to Kmart, got some Tylenol, came home. The pain didn't stop. Went to the hospital the next day. And actually, that's not exactly what happened. Got up the next day, go to the bathroom, and I heard something hit the
The toilet.
toilet. And I was like, that don't sound right. That is not that's not the normal sound.
Mm.
I went to the hospital. I had miscarried. So the what I heard was it wasn't a child yet, it was the embryo.
Mhm.
Um, so then, he's compassionate and caring. Are you okay? What can I do? And I'm like, you can't do nothing. I needed you yesterday. The deed is done. I've already dealt with it. And then as women know, when you have a miscarriage, you have to have the DNC and all that, which is extra invasive
Mm.
because they don't really do it with compassion. So,
Mhm.
you go through that stuff. So I that's why I was asking you the questions, Olivia. It was difficult for me and I did not feel movement. My tummy hadn't rounded out. I hadn't gone and heard heartbeats. So I always wonder, um,
I mean, I mean, I bought clothes and all of that, and I thinking of names, like I was far enough along, so
Yeah.
it was definitely
Each time you were into the
so.
second trimester, so you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I I felt for you so badly. I was like, I'll do anything she wants. What does she want? What does she need? What I'll do anything for her. You
So,
know.
so Jolanda, what did you? I know you said you told him that you needed him yesterday and things like that. How did you deal then with moving on from that? With not like, because that's hard where you actually did it on your own. Like
I've
it,
done everything else on my own.
your body naturally did it on its own.
You didn't hear me, did you?
I,
She said she
I,
did
I
everything.
heard you, but I was
Um, at that point, it was a norm. Uh,
okay.
the person I married is not the person that I'm married to today. He would have been single a while ago. But also, I'm not the person that he married because I used to put up with a lot of crap. Um,
Oh yeah.
and it was not all his fault. It was also what I did in my family life. You know,
Mm.
I did everything. So when Carmen says she's fixed, she has to be the fixer. So I said, well, how did you know why? Do you know why? I know why. I was a fixer. Um, mine was we've discussed it, my need to keep everyone happy. I still to this day, I do not like to see people hurt. But I've
Mhm.
had to learn that their pain is not my responsibility and I can have empathy without taking on their drama and their traumas. And I
Mhm.
didn't understand that. So, like, even dating, if we had a fight, it wasn't even necessarily my fault, but I would apologize. I would fix it. Um, with my mother, I did so much because I didn't want her to ever have to feel, uh, mm, I didn't want to ever be a burden, even though that was my parent. Circle back, ask, do another question.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
All right. Mm. So with that, has there been any time for you, Carmen, where you've uh suffered from any type of like breakdown or other types of depression? Because
Yeah.
I don't know if would you consider with your perfectionism depression, or because to me it sounds a little bit more of like a spectrum, like a OCD type thing to me
Hmm.
versus like a depression.
Well, it is that part is part of uh
Just
uh a spectrum. Yes,
yeah.
yeah, it is part of the spectrum. Um, but I I'll say, was it 4 years? Well, it was about 4 years ago now. Well, it's going on 4 years. Um, when I realized then that I had my first anxiety attack and I didn't know
Mm,
exactly what was happening to me. Um, and I ran out of my house and was literally pacing up and down the street because I just couldn't, I couldn't take it. My husband came outside and was like, "What is wrong with you? What are you doing? Come in the house." I'm like, "Just leave me alone. Let me walk. I gotta get air. I gotta get breath in my lungs. I just feel like everything is closing in on me. I just can't take it because again, um, it was a situation where everybody's, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You need to fix this. You need to do this. What about you? Blah 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 blah. You need to say this is something person. You need to talk to them. You need to get them together. Aren't you the head? Aren't you number one? Aren't you supposed to do this? So you need to do it. So and it just came all at once. And then being the perfectionist, I gotta figure out how to do the perfect way to do this. You know what I mean? How do I do this? And all of it just first is anxiety attack, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at work. That I'm feeling like you all are. That's my perfect situation at work. It's falling apart, and I can't. There's no way I can fix that. I'm trying and I can't fix this. So those things, those were the start of the anxiety attacks, which then led to a heart attack or a
mhm,
myocardial infarction. Um, so, like I said, after that episode, after that experience, and being in the hospital like I was, and feeling like I was like a newborn baby, I can't do anything for myself. I felt so weak. I felt like every function I had was gone. I knew I had to do something about here before I could fix
mhm,
here. So a lot of the times, well, a lot of my stuff is because it's unspoken.
mhm,
So I started to speak up
mhm,
because, like Jolanda said, so used to making sure everybody else is happy and making sure that nobody else is unhappy with me, or that I'm always there front and center for everybody else. Who's doing that for me? Nobody. I'm not even doing that for myself.
mhm,
So I started to speak up and I started to make other people unhappy. I said, look, what we're gonna do it, we're gonna be unhappy together. Either we're gonna be happy together or we're gonna be unhappy together. But I'm not gonna continue to make somebody else happy while I'm miserable. Because guess where I ended up at? I'm I'm in the hospital. I'm lying up here. I can't move. I get home and my son had to halfway carry me up the stairs to my apartment. And he's worried about Ma. How sick are you? Tell me the truth. How sick are you? So that was the beginning of me going, let me recognize what's going on with myself mentally so that then I can help myself physically.
So what did you do for your mental?
I went to therapy. I started seeing a therapist.
Now, was the therapist recommended while you were in the hospital, or was it something you decided I need the help?
I decided I need the help because I believe and how do I say this? It is my belief that when it comes to African American women, we are marginalized when it comes to proper health care, period. That we are not, when it comes down to saying, let's check out her mental state, that's the last thing that people think about. That's the last thing that comes up. We get marginalized a lot when it becomes our prenatal care. I believe that, each of you all should have had better advice. You know what I'm saying? Better care. But I believe that's something that happens to us as Black women. So no, it
Yeah.
wasn't suggested to me at all. If I didn't have the wherewithal for myself to say, I don't want to be like this, then I don't think I would have decided to seek therapy.
So are you still in therapy or no?
Not at the current moment. Not at the current moment. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't go back. It was helpful. It was very helpful to get me to the point where I can accept the things that are my idiosyncrasies and and accept my peg on the spectrum and know that, what I mean, we all we all on that spectrum is at some point with where it's down at the bottom or all the way up at the top. We all on that sliding scale at some point with our idiosyncrasies. So I'm all right with that. Anybody else?
Are you okay, Jay?
Okay.
You good?
So Jolanda went into, are you currently in? And you said no. Jolanda, have you ever gone to therapy before?
Well, I've attempted, and funny and true story, made several appointments, and for whatever reason, never could go. I even showed up, and it was the wrong appointment day. Um, so no, I am not in therapy. Uh, why I don't couldn't tell you why. Do I think therapy is a good thing? I do. I think that it is much needed. Um, but no, I had got tired after like the third, it was like the third time. I said, you know what? I don't know what's going on between me and trying to sit down and talk to someone about what I'm feeling. I guess it is just not today because how many times am I going to walk into this brick wall of trying to get this therapist? The showing up and then oh no, your appointment isn't today. Okay, yeah, it shouldn't have been that hard. And like I know I've been told, you know what, try telehealth and all of that. I have to be able to sit and I need a person. on
Yes, understand. Me too.
that
I don't.
video.
I can't do a
That's
telehealth appointment. I tried to. Yeah.
it doesn't work for me. Um, so yeah. So for that, no, I haven't. I
And you
have.
expressed that you have, right, Olivia?
I've definitely done therapy. My first time going to therapy was after uh I was essayed. Um, and after that, uh that was a lot. Yeah. And then from there I went to therapy probably until like a month or month and a half. And then I stopped because I was like, this person doesn't know what I'm going through. Like it was nobody I could connect to. So I was like, okay. Then I just dealt with my own stuff on my own. And then the second time I went to therapy was when it was supposed to be family therapy for me, my half sister, and my biological father. Went to the therapist, they never showed up. So I ended up doing therapy on my own. And I did therapy for a while on my own, dealing with that situation, dealing with how that affects my sisters, my mother, and everybody else, and how everyone is pulling me this way, that way, this way, that way. And I'm just like, I still have to be a mom. I still have to be a wife. I still have to be me. So I dealt with that. And then I did couple counseling and did that for a while. And then I just did counseling on my own. And I still do therapy once every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
It's nice.
I did. Well, I did do couples counseling as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what were some of you guys's, and I'll answer the question as well. What were some, um, I don't like the word trigger. I think it's used too much, but
You can use it.
I don't have a choice. I
For
can't.
lack of a better word, go ahead. Yeah.
Um, what were some of the triggers that caused you, or the one trigger that caused you to say, I cannot continue this way? I got to do something. I can't continue down this path.
For which time? I had
Myocardio,
many times.
You can pick a time. Pick.
Oh,
myocardial infarction.
So your trigger was the heart attack. Okay. Did you have one?
well, I guess my biggest trigger was for me when I could not control my emotions with my normal coping mechanisms at the time. Um, Nobody knows this, but I was a purger. So I would eat, and I would purge. And I did that from the time I was 14 all the way until I was probably, I'm 50 now. So probably until I was like 39, 40 years old.
Really?
I would I would go to get in my car, drive up, order all this food, and I'd eat. And then once I got home, I'd go to the bathroom, go throw up, or I'd take a laxative and take care of it that way. Um, Once I wasn't able to use that as my coping mechanism, and then I started trying to look outside of that. I never did drugs or alcohol like that. That was the funniest part. I was like, I've never tried drugs or alcohol like that. That's usually the first place people go, but I was like, no, food.
Oh,
That's where I'll go.
I mean, food is
Um,
it can be considered a drug now. They
yes,
can,
yes, yes.
yeah, food can be.
And then from there, I went to exercise because there was a time where I literally exercised at least 3 to 4 hours a day just to try to cope with what was going on. And like to the point where even my trainers were like, Olivia, you got to go home. You've taken 4 classes in a row. You got to go home. Or you're going to break your muscles down. Like you're going to hurt yourself. And so then I was like, okay, I need to go back. So once those coping mechanisms stopped working for me, that's when I knew I needed to go back.
Oh, okay. Well, um, I've had several as well, but my big one that has truly changed who I am at the core of my being. 37. I too had a panic attack. I had no idea what it was. I just knew I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't even really deal with the fact I couldn't breathe because I had 2 kids at home. They were young. So I'm still trying to take care of them, but I literally cannot catch my breath. You know, you feel you know, Carmen, you feel like you're dying. Like I can't breathe. Um, so I just bust out the door. I didn't walk up and down the street. I just sat on the porch and walking away from the house, sitting on the porch, and it was so cold. But just sitting there in that cold air hitting me in my face and getting it into my lungs, I was able to regulate um, and get it together enough to go back in the house and continue my day. That actually that whole year was a panic attack. Um, I called Olivia one day and I was sitting on the back step and just crying, and I didn't know why I was crying hysterically. Just I just couldn't take it anymore. Um, I never attempted to take my life, but I had planned it out. And what stopped me is I had 2 small kids. And I said, that's not fair to them. So it was just like I couldn't take it anymore. And yeah, yeah, we needed to talk. So yeah, and it was external pressures. It was motherhood, being a child of an adult parent who is needy as hell, um, trying to be the perfect wife, trying to be the perfect friend. At that point, I was in Delta and Top Ladies, and I was over teen activities in both groups. And, you know, I don't care if the people see it. Um, I was targeted in the groups and I was treated unfairly. And it was a lot of opposition against me succeeding. And I did not know why. To this day, I don't know why. I've had certain people apologize to me because they said that they had a misrepresentation of the person I was and whatever. But during that time, I had nowhere to turn. And everything I did, I I was up against it in every direction. So I just couldn't deal anymore. So at that point, it was either I'm not going to be here or we're going to figure out what we need to do um, to get myself together. So that's why I was asking what was the trigger? Ooh, we're going to have to do some laughing.
Yep. I
Girl.
know one of
Um,
the I know that feeling of just, you know what I mean, like I always said before, um I've always it was the feeling I need to run. I need to run. I just need to run away. I want to run away. I want to get away from it all. I just want to everybody I want to tell everybody, "Hey, look," and just go run the opposite direction and don't stop until I like reach Greenland, you know? But I knew I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that until uh you know what I mean, because I had kids, you know.
Mhm.
So I totally understand how she, that feeling. I've been there. Yeah.
And I definitely could say the same. Oh, look, she changed the locations.
because you couldn't see me.
Oh,
It was
okay.
dark. So I'm like, because it's getting darker here if you couldn't tell. So I'm trying to figure out um how to do it. Keep talking. I'm listening. I'm active.
Okay. You might need to put a little light on you
Yeah, because you're now in the shadow.
because now you got a shadow. So, but yes,
Yep.
right there.
Okay, I'm
Perfect.
putting my table there. Okay.
All right. So, I definitely understand that. I think my escapism, uh, another escapism that I had, um, which probably was not also healthy, was throwing myself into those groups Shalonda was talking about and like letting them be all my personality so that I can, and then school also, so that I only have to deal with that and my kids and nothing else because I felt like I wasn't getting supported. I sometimes I think like, why was I put here? Because I've never, and as much as I love my mom, she loves me, my dad, and he loved me. Like, I never was a, like how Carmen says you were a oops, I was a oops. Like, I was never supposed to be here. And it's like, it's sometimes it's so glaring that I'm not supposed to be here
Mm.
that it truly hurts my feelings because then when I like look at my kids, I'm like, I wanted my kids. I did everything to have my kids. And when I hear people tell me, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't coddle them so much, you shouldn't do this, do that. I'm like, dude, do you understand how much it took me to get here? Just because you were able to just plop something out doesn't mean anything. So I completely understand. I was going to ask both of you since um, we were talking about parents. Well, not well, we started talking about parents, but like for Carmen, I know because you were the oops and things like that, you said you had to work on your perfectionism. Did you ever, before your mother and father passed, did you ever like get an apology or anything like that from them
Oh,
about like, no? Okay.
no, no, because it was still, um, it was very much they died when I was still rather young. You know what I mean? I was only what 25, I think, when my mom passed away, or 26, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
When my mom and dad passed away, they passed away 6 months apart. Um, and yeah, there was no, I mean, they were just, I just got past the point that I married the person I did. I couldn't, I had to use the fact that at the time that Jolanda was pregnant, to tell them that I was pregnant, tell my mother that I was pregnant, because I don't have conversation. I don't talk to my mom about things. I never talk to my mother about anything like that. Any, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think I had more serious conversations with my father more than I did with my mother, because my mother was a more of a person of, saying whatever you thought was, ridiculous, or it was nonsense, and you need to do to more like, pull your big girl drawers up and go do what you got to do type of person, not to saying that, that she was a bad person or anything, but that's how she was raised. So that's the only thing that she knew. So she could only give me what she had.
Yeah.
So no, there was no, what I mean, and they wouldn't even know what they would be apologizing for, because guess what? I had food, I had clothing, I had some of the things I want, and I definitely had the things I need. So yeah, if your mind is mucked up, that's on you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Jolanda, did your dad ever apologize or can you just
I'm about to take y'all with me to feed Mason.
Okay,
I'm
'cause I
gonna
was
move
like,
downstairs where it's a different lighting structure and it might be better. But
okay.
and take this too. So we are definitely off the cuff because we're about to see the kitchen. So yes, he apologized, but he apologized maybe about 4 years after I yelled at him. So I was in college, and he apologized more so because he was dying. You know, mobility. Dying will do that. You know, dying brings clarity. So he apologized. So, and for those of you who don't know, my father was an alcoholic. Um, my parents got divorced when I was 6 because of his alcoholism, and I did not take that well. But on the bright side, I will never be an alcoholic. Um, Once I get to a certain point, if I want to have liquor, if I get a certain feeling, I'm done because I have a fear of becoming an alcoholic, just in case it has something to do with genetics. Um, but I was very angry with him um, for a long time. And, he has some other things I didn't necessarily care for, but the base of it was alcoholism. And we had a blowout when I was 16, and I told him what I felt. And he kind of tried more after that, but what are you going to do now? I'm over 16, dude. I've lived without you, so I'm good. So when he was dying, he ended up dying of throat cancer. Uh, we had a couple of discussions, and he apologized for what he had not done and what he should have done. And I'm guessing he had a conversation with my mom. That's not my business to know. So he did apologize. And my mother, she is growing up in her old age. We've had several discussions over the years. Generally, every January 1st, we would have a fight. That was our fight day, January 1st, because for whatever reason, that would bring up me saying, I didn't like that you did this and I didn't like that you did that. And she would, no, that's not true because she never could see her own faults. More recently, in recent years, she said, I'm so sorry I did that to you. I apologize. I did not mean to do that to you. So I was able to get apologies. I know you haven't got one from that thing, but did you have any conversations with your mom or with your dad before he left?
So, before my dad passed, he did say that he was proud of me. I know one of the things for him was he apologized, and his whole reasoning of how he was with me is because he knew that he kept me from the other side of my family, because when he married my mom, he told my mom that no more contact. Like, either she becomes mine when I marry you, or, you know, you stay over there. And my mother wanted to be married. I mean, can't fault her for that. I mean, he was a good man. He wanted to step up and do what men should do for their child. Um, but that was hurtful to me because we did we did have a fight, and I remember saying at 16, "You're not my dad anyway." And
Yeah.
like, we had this big old, well, you don't know who your father is, blah 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 blah. And I remember I apologized, and I was like, "I'm sorry, Daddy, because you did step up." But I was just like so hurt because all this time I've been ostracized from your family in particular and treated like
Street
mud.
booty.
Yep.
Street
For
booty.
still to this day, his family will acknowledge my sisters versus me. And I'm just like, are you kidding? Like, come on. But so he did apologize. Um he asked my uncle to make sure that he took care of me, and my uncle did in his way, especially when I had my children. He was very present in my children's lives, told a lot of stories to my kids about their papa and all of that stuff. So he was very good until me and him got into it, and that was it of that relationship. My mother, she still has not. The other day, I want to say like 3 weeks ago, yes, because um, my biological father's sister passed away, and I told her, and I said, I really have an issue. Like, why didn't you fight for me to be able to see my paternal grandmother and because they always said, and even my uh biological father said, they always wanted me to be in their lives, and you took me out. And my mother even said, with no hesitation, no blink, no nothing, your dad told me not to, so I'd listen to your father. And it was never like, I'm sorry that I didn't think about maybe doing it when you got older or anything like that. Like, she literally was like, that's my man, and I'm gonna do what my man said. So I was just like, and I tell her, and it's so funny because when
That's
I
like
remember
wow.
fights that
That's
we've
like
ever
wow.
had and the fights that we've ever had, I always said, like, I did what you told me to do, and I still like, I still was married when I had my children. Like, I didn't go out and have kids with somebody who was out there philandering with a whole bunch of women. Like, I didn't. And I'm like, you can't judge me. And like, I think that for me was another trigger because my mother was one of those people like, and I love her. I love her. Don't think, audience, I don't love my mother. I love her. I will kill for her. I love her. But my mom's very selfish,
It's
and
okay
like
to say. It's okay to say. You know what I
she would
mean?
say things like, when I was pregnant with when I first told her and my dad when I first got married that I was pregnant, my mother lost. She did not want me to have a child, like, at all, because at the time I want to say she was like 47. I'm
Mm.
not old enough to be a grandma. Blah 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 blah. My dad was so excited because that's all he wanted. As soon as I got married, like, he was like, "You better be having a baby." Unbeknownst to him, I was already pregnant, but he was so excited. My mother, no. And then, so when I had my first miscarriage, it devastated my dad.
Mm.
So I will say my dad was very compassionate towards me. So
Mhm.
when I had my second miscarriage, my dad was there in the room. Like, literally, he was, and people would be like, "Oh, you're," no, I wasn't hallucinating, nothing. My dad was standing in the window holding my other baby, and
Wow.
he told me, he said, "Olivia, I will take him and I will raise him. It's okay." After he said that, my body just went into full labor, and that was it. So, like, and when I came back from that happening, I was living with my mom because we were getting our house built, and my mom never was like, "Are you okay?" Like, she never had that compassion. Like, your daughter just lost another child. Like, there was no compassion, no sympathy, no nothing, and that's, I think, why, like I said about doting on my son and taking my time and being such a perfectionist, as Carmen says, with him, is because I did not have that support at all. Like,
Do
yeah.
do you think that also, because I think, and this might be something that I did as well, just listening to you, um because my mother was not a particularly affectionate woman. My father was more of a perfection, more more affectionate than my mother was. My mother showed that she loved you in, in the things she did more than did, more than actual physical affection. Um,
Hmm.
or even in words. She didn't come out and say I love you. Um, do you think you doting on your son and doing the things that you do for your children, that in turn, when it is your turn to be the elder, and they will take care of you with the same loving concern that you took care of them?
No, I've never thought about that. I like that's never crossed my mind. I have no my my doting and my taking care of my children is because I felt like I wasn't taken care of.
Mm.
I felt like I was left out to the wolves. Like my grandmother took me from my mother, she raised me, and then when she married my dad, she took me back. And I felt like I was a tumbleweed. And then I would go down to Evanston and see my biological side grandma. Like I remember going down there for years, and then I would be come back, and then my mom would ship me off to my grandma for the summer, and my sisters would get to stay home, and I'd be gone, and then I'd have to come back and deal with the dynamics of oh, the twins and all of this stuff. And it was just a lot. So for me, having children was I need you to feel special at all times and never think that mommy doesn't love you and mommy doesn't want to be around you. Like to this day, kissing, like I don't care how long my son is married, how long, how big, whatever. You gonna kiss and hug me. You gonna let me kiss and hug on you. You gonna let me play in your hair. You gonna let me love on you. And Kennedy, the same thing, even though she'd be like, oh, mom. But I need you to understand you will never be able to sit down on anybody's couch and say, my mama didn't love me. She did not show me any affection. She did not take care of me. My mother did she would give her life for me.
Hmm.
And that's what I wanted to show my children because, like I said, like you, I was the oops. And I was almost like from Queen, where Raven Simone was standing in there and they were screaming, Little Miss in between, Little Miss in between. That's how I always felt.
Hmm.
When
Yep.
that scene happened, I felt seen because I knew how that felt.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yep. I know how that, yeah, I do know how that feels, Just, what I mean, I would say and do things just so that I could be seen.
Yep.
And, I did, and I got that love and affection from my dad. I knew my mom loved me, but my mother was not, she didn't get that from her mother. They were never affectionate. What I mean, her mother wasn't an affectionate woman. Um, so she didn't really particularly know how to do that. So yeah, I understand how you feel about your my daughter is not a particularly affectionate person, is always on her terms, and she's been like that since she was an infant. You know what I mean? They called her a mean ass baby for no she was a mean ass baby. Um but yes, but I will. You when I want to kiss and hug you, you gonna come and let me kiss and hug you. And that same thing. I never got that problem with for Kanan, because Kanan is a big teddy bear anywhere. And what I mean, no matter what, he is going to he'll let me kiss and hug on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't care until like you say, old and gray, decrepit. You gonna let me do it.
You gonna let me kiss and hug on you. I don't care either one of them. I'm gonna
Right.
kiss and hug on you. Candy be like, oh, I'll be like, girl, give me that hug and kiss before
Yeah,
I leave about
exactly.
this
And
piece.
Bethany is the same way. She's like that too. She's like, ugh.
What about you, Jay? Because it's different. We have sons. How is it with having two girls?
In what way?
As far as like the affection and all of that type of stuff. Like,
Mm, it's the same. It's the same. So we can go back to infancy. Tyler was my cuddle baby. I literally, but she also helped me. I was going through a lot of turmoil when I had her. Um, so I held her all the time. Like, even if I couldn't sleep, I would get out of my bed, get her out of her crib, and make my little arm support pillow little situation. And I would just cuddle her all night. I would just kiss on her all the time and love on her. And she allowed that. Now, mm-mm, she is not. Don't hug her. Don't kiss her. When she wants to talk to me, she comes to me, and I will stop what I'm doing. You guys have seen. Oh, the kids coming. Y'all gonna have to wait because they're choosing to come and give me some time. I'm going to be here to accept that. That's a gift. Um, Morgan, on the other hand, she's more of a more affectionate and loving person now. But as a child, she didn't want that. She was like, no, you know, if she was hungry or she needed to be changed, or she was like a cat. If she needed me or wanted me, she was there. But if she didn't want to be bothered, she didn't want to be bothered. So it's kind of the same as with your children. Like sometimes they'll feel sorry for me, like they go and do things together now that they like each other because they didn't like each other for years, sibling
Yeah.
dynamic, which I didn't understand. I couldn't understand it
Well,
because I
yeah.
never had a direct
Or
sibling, so it was very foreign to me. But they go and hang out, and sometimes they'll come over like, "Mommy, we're going to do our errands. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Yep." Yep. And I sit in the back seat and I don't say a word. I just enjoy the vibes and listen to them be young ladies. And I love it. It's like one of the joys of my life right now. So it's the same. Okay, let me put this food in his bowl, and then I'm gonna move to the last spot and give you my full attention. Let me put this food in this dog's bowl. But I can hear you. Let me turn this off.
I'm gonna
I'm
pause
right
this real
there.
quick.
Huh?
Go ahead.
So, ladies, Jolanda is finished feeding her baby, and it's time for us. I have one more question for us as a group. What's one positive thing, or it could be a few positive things that came out of through everything that's happened? Your perfectionism, your smiling depression, your anxiety attacks, even your cardio malfunction. I had to make sure I say it right.
Infarction.
And
Infarction.
infarction. Yes, infarction. And my shit, all the stuff I got going on. What's the most positive thing that has come out of it? We'll start with you, Carmen, then go to Jay.
Okay. The most positive thing that I have to say that's come out of all of this is that I have found my voice. That uh, I don't hold back my opinion or how I feel to save other people's feelings. I realize the statement that you get to say what you want to say, then I do. Then you can say whatever you want to say to me. Well, I can say whatever I want to say too. Then, so it's been very, cathartic,
Mm-hmm.
cathartic in that way. What about you, Jay?
Mm, to be gentle with myself, and it's okay to put me first. So it sounds simple, but that took me years to come up with. I've been very hard on myself for a long time. So I'm not like that anymore. I'm gentle with myself. If things don't work out, I don't get angry. Maybe in the moment I might. I'm not going to ever say that. That would be a lie. But I don't hold it. I allow myself to feel what I feel. I validate my feelings. I don't allow anyone to invalidate my feelings.
Yeah.
And I move on. And I don't hold on to all of those things that I used to hold on to.
And Olivia?
And I will pull up the rear. Uh, the thing that has been the greatest for me through all the therapy is that release. Um, I've never, y'all know, I'm not a crier. I laugh at people that cry because I don't. It makes me uncomfortable to cry and be vulnerable. Um, I have taken more time to be gentle with myself with that. Um, I might cry in the shower or cry in my bed. Um, but I do release that. And the other thing is that today I have to look out for me. Um, I've looked out for everybody else. I've always done for everybody else. Still to this day, I look out for everybody else, but I have to look out for me first.
Mm.
And that's
All
it.
right.
Hey,
All right.
one more question. Well, I just thought about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, because Olivia said control a little while ago, and Carmen, you said perfectionism. So I know I was always a lead from the rear person, um, and I didn't care if I didn't get credit for what I've done. I'm not that person anymore. I'm tired of living in the shadow. But that was my coping mechanism because I felt that other people were better than me at things, so I would allow them. And it's like I want to help them and push them along, but I felt that they were better than me at doing the whatever it was. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
give you the idea and I'm gonna push you and show you how to do it, and then I'm gonna stand back and just be happy for your success. Which is nothing wrong with that. I'm going to put a caveat because that is how a lot of people are in the world, but it wasn't who I really am at my core. That wasn't me. That was me um, people pleasing.
Mhm.
So, do you guys use? Um, oh God, it was a great question. I can't say it. I'm going to cut this little part while I'm thinking. My pondering. Okay, so do you guys try then to control situations as a form of coping or as a way to keep protection? God dang it, that's the word. So, do you try to control situations as a way to protect yourselves from getting hurt? So that was when, and I'm going
100%.
to clarify why I asked that question. My leading from the rear would keep me from getting hurt because I
Mhm.
was used to people stealing from me and that would hurt me. So I was like, bump it, you're going to steal from me anyway. I'm just going to lead from the rear and I'll be happy you got your glow up because the stuff got done. Okay. I was protecting my heart. So do you guys use control as a way to protect yourself? And if it's not control, what is your protection mechanism?
So I don't use control as a way to protect myself. Um, uh, I lose control. I would my perfectionism, put it like that. I use my perfectionism as a way of ensuring myself.
That's control.
I know I'm just saying it gives me reassurance. It doesn't kind of. I guess that's protection
Being a
then.
perfectionist is controlling the environment.
Right. I know. I said, yeah, that, but I don't say, my thing is being my perfection. It's kind of putting a name to it. Control can be a lot of things, but my little caveat under control is that is my perfectionism. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
It's still the
I'm
same
not
thing. I hear
arguing
what you're
with
saying.
you,
Yeah,
but
it's still the
yeah,
same thing. It's still the same thing.
it's the same. It's the
It's
same
the same
path.
thing. Mhm.
Okay.
Same
Do
thing.
you have one, Olivia?
Um, my control is to plan, as you guys know.
Yes.
I
To
will plan out
the
everything
very minute detail.
to the last second.
The nth to the nth degree.
I will send out invitation. Like I said, y'all in YouTube land or wherever you're watching this, I send out invitations to my girlfriends just for us to go out to eat. I send invitations to the group for us to hang out. I will plan. I will have an itinerary, all of it.
You will.
So I will plan it. I do that with everything I do, even for my daughter. That's why my daughter, she literally has her iPad and she has everything and she's got a checklist. Click, 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 click. And once everything's clicked, she's done. She's good. So yeah, I that's my control because I feel like if I get everything done, I did what I needed to do. But like when things go wrong though, it sends me off.
Mhm.
Like completely. If one thing gets changed or I can't do something that's on that list and it's not in my control, like it maybe it's because I decided to cancel or whatever, that's fine. But if it's something out of my control, I lose it. And then I'm done for the day. So yeah, mine is planning for sure.
What about you? You don't plan, do you, Carmen?
Me? Oh yeah. I
You're
do.
not a fly by the seat of your pants, sir.
Nope, I planned everything out. You if and like she, it's funny that she says that her daughter has a checklist on her iPad. I like giant sticky notes. I have a big giant sticky note that I can tear off and put on my wall, and I will have different color pens and everything so I can write it all down and I make my own checklist and I have everything up there and I check it off over my big giant sticky note.
I actually like that because I'm a lister too.
I
But
love lists.
for me, I realized that my lists were hindering me. So, because I would make a list and then I had a sub list, and my sub list had a category with little ticks underneath it. And
Oh, you're
I
speaking my
spent
language.
so much time making my list that I never finished my list. So that's why, and it bothers Olivia. Uh,
Yeah.
like the last time the two of us were together, she was like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I don't care." But what do you want to do? I said, "Let's just get in the car and go." But where are we going? That way. Like,
I know
let's go.
that.
So it was it was very hard for her, but I had to start doing that because I was doing analysis paralysis with boom, boom,
Yeah.
it has to be this way. Um, and I'm not telling you guys to change because everybody is
Oh
different.
no, no.
I still make lists, but it's just more more broad now. The only
I
time I
do.
make detailed lists is when I have house stuff to do or things for other people or for work. Like if it's about work, I have to stay on the schedule to get it done, or else I'm going to be in la la land. If
Right.
it's, things like that. But when it's for me personally, I'm just like, okay, I know today I feel like doing this. Okay, let's go do it.
Mhm.
And
And I could be that way too, Jolanda. I can't. I mean, if it would, I know it would have been all right with me if we said get in the car. You said get in the car, and I'm like, where are we going? You was like that way. I was like,
okay,
well, let's go. You know what I mean? We'll find it. I don't know what it is. Okay, that's good.
no, let's just go see.
Let's just go see. I'm all right with that.
I'm working on it with your friend.
I know. I know.
I
We just
think
got.
for me the reason why is because I not just I need to know where I'm going. Like in everything, I need to know where I'm going. Um and people are going to be like, she's always talking about being a Pisces. Well, I am,
But
and
you're a
we're fish
Pisces,
that
so
go two different directions, and I need to have a direction, or I will swim around in a damn little bowl
mhm,
and be confused. So
mm,
I have to know where the hell we're going. I have to know what I'm doing. Like my sisters for homecoming, they're like, so we're going here, 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 and here. These are our I was like, well, what you wear? So they sent me pictures of what they're wearing so that I can pack my suitcase. Like and that's crazy being Pisces because we're supposed to be these hippy dippy people, which I am, but I don't like going places and not having what I need to have. So that's why they both laugh at me because I'm like, oh, we'll drive because I can put everything in the car and take it with me. Where they're like, oh, we fly it, and they got one little bag, and I'm
One
like,
bag, you
this
go
is
to the
where you going with
store.
one bag.
You just buy
That's
what you
where
need
you
when you
going.
get there.
No, I need it now.
And like you said,
So
she's a Pisces, I'm a Virgo. That's where my perfectionism, that's part of it.
yes,
That's where it comes from.
yes.
And it is also is like I can. It's never about the destination with me. It's always about the journey. So I can. It doesn't matter where I'm going. It matters to me who I'm with. So as long as I'm with people I trust and love, then I don't care where I'm going. It doesn't matter.
Well, that was fun. Okay. Well, no, I'm saying because just came. I was like, I got a question. I want to answer this question. I couldn't get the words, but anyhow.
Well, I hope that ends us on a good note. It's been another wonderful episode talking to my sisters, and we hope that you enjoy this. And we will see you next time on Beyond the First Chapter with the
Next,
JONC.
I said it wrong. I said it wrong.
Did I say it
What
wrong?
did you say wrong?
I said it wrong. I said next, beyond the next chapter.
Oh, girl, don't scare me. Bye.
Bye.